की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिव हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस इस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
तो आगे आइए, come forward. Somebody can put this one on. जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bolo bolo bolo. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai. श्री श्री ललिता विशाखा देवी की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय, श्री गिरिधारी गोपाल की जय, श्री जनार्दन स्वामी की जय, श्री राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ भगवान की जय, श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 2nd chapter, entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna, text number 24. मन्ये सुरान् भागवतां श्रद्धीशे मन्ये सुरान् भागवतां श्रद्धीशे सरम्बमार्गाभिनिविष्टचित्तान्। Sing slowly. सरम्बमार्गाभिनिविष्टचित्तान् भिनिविष्टचित्तान् ये संयुगे चक्षततार्क्षपुत्र ये संयुगे चक्षततार्क्षपुत्र मनसे सुनाभायुधमापनन्तम् मनसे सुनाभायुधमापतन्नन्तम् Manye suran bhagavatan stradishe sarambha marga bhinivishta chittan ye samyuge chakshat tarksha putra amse sunabhayudamapanantam. Please see. Manye suran bhagavatam stryadhishe sarambha marga binivishta chittan ye samyuge chakshat tarksha putra mamse sunabhayudamapanantam. Hare Krishna. Manye, I think, asuran, the demons, Bhagavatan, great devotees, three adhishe, unto the Lord of the threes, sambrahma, samrambha, enmity, marga, by the way of abhinivishta chittan, absorbed in thought, ye, those, samyuge, in the fight, achakshata, could see, tarksha, putram, garuda, the carrier of the Lord, amshe, on the shoulder, sunabha, the wheel, ayudham, one who carries the weapon, apatantam, coming forward. Hare Krishna. Translation: I consider the demons who are inimical towards the Lord to be more than the devotees, because while fighting with the Lord, absorbed in the thoughts of enmity, they are able to see the Lord carried on the shoulder of Garuda, the son of Tarksha, Kashyapa, and carrying the wheel weapon in his hand. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Asuras who fought against the Lord face to face got salvation due to their being killed by the Lord. This salvation of the demons is not due to their being devotees of the Lord, it is because of the Lord's causeless mercy. Anyone who is slightly in touch with the Lord, somehow or other, is greatly benefited, even to the point of salvation, due to the excellence of the Lord. He is so kind that He awards salvation even to His enemies, because they come in contact with Him and are indirectly absorbed in Him by their inimical thoughts. Actually, the demons can never be equal to the pure devotees. But Uddhava was thinking in that way because of his feelings of separation. He was thinking that at the last stage of his life, he might be not able to see the Lord face to face as did the demons. The fact that the devotees who are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord in transcendental love are rewarded many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times more than demons by being elevated to the spiritual planets, where they remain with the Lord in eternal blissful existence. The demons and the impersonalists are awarded the facility of merging in the Brahmajyoti effulgence of the Lord, whereas the devotees are admitted into the spiritual planets. For comparison, one just can imagine the difference between floating in space and residing in one of the planets in the sky. I repeat this line. For comparison, one can just imagine the difference between just floating in the space and residing in one of the planets in the sky. The pleasure of the living entities on the planet is greater than that of those who have no body and who merge with the molecules of the sun's rays. The impersonalists, therefore, are no more favored than the enemies of the Lord. Rather, they both are on the same level of spiritual salvation. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaud Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. So this is the chapter entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. And the discussion is between Uddhava and Vidura. In the beginning of the discussion, as soon as Vidura inquired something from Uddhava regarding Krishna, immediately Uddhava went into a trance of stabdata. He became just stunned. And he was quiet for a long time. So to invoke any spiritual emotion, we need one devotee to invoke that. So Uddhava is definitely a very, very elevated devotee, constantly absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord. But when somebody comes and ignites it or inspires it, it becomes the reason for external expression of that devotion. Although Uddhava is always absorbed, but whenever we come in contact with devotees, our inner thoughts of Krishna are always invoked. You and me, all of us are devotees and we keep chanting Hare Krishna. But moment we meet a devotee on the road or anywhere else, like I was in Saudi Arabia and I met one devotee after many months there, many years back. Immediately the thoughts of Krishna were overwhelmingly coming out. So this is the importance of devotees in our life. That because of their presence only, whatever little or more devotion, love we have for Krishna can be invoked or can be surfaced from within. It will have means to come out and express itself, the mood and devotion. Uddhava is a very great devotee of the Lord. Right from his birth, he was serving the Lord unconditionally. Although he was from royal family, he had all the qualifications, of course not from birth, but he got shiksha from Brahaspati. He was direct cousin of Krishna, in family of Krishna. He was a minister of Krishna. He looked like Krishna. He had all kinds of things which everyone will desire, including the gopis in Vrindavan. Because he would sit with Krishna, talk to Krishna, he will be dining with Krishna, he will go for hunting with Krishna, he will go moving around. All kinds of activities one can imagine to do with anybody else, he was doing with Krishna all the time. And even the gopis would think how fortunate Uddhava is. There is no time of the day or there is no situation of the world where he was not with Krishna. He was always with Krishna, he has access with Krishna, he could be with Krishna and do from ordinary activities to important activities to most confidential activities. Everything he would do. And Gopinath had to wait till it becomes sunset and dark to be with Krishna. And he would be with Krishna in Dwarka all the time. And he had come. So, still, because of being so close to Krishna, he had not understood actually the love of the gopis. And also Krishna wanted to teach him how to actually be with Krishna in separation, in the thoughts and in remembrance. So with this, and of course, personally I have a little difficulty in accepting that Uddhava was a little proud of his proximity to Krishna. This is all Lord's divine arrangement. So he wanted to, some people comment that Krishna wanted to actually show him the highest level of gopis and then make him humble. Anyways, we have defended that case in one previous lecture. But when he was sent to Vrindavan, he could see that all his knowledge which he had received from Brahaspati was actually useless. He could see it practically. He wanted to apply them, the knowledge. He wanted to apply these realizations to serve the gopis, to pacify them, to make them come in equilibrium of mind. But he could see that all that he was thinking was rendered useless instantly as soon as he entered Vrindavan Dham and met the gopis and saw the gopis. And then onwards he was just puzzled. He was just wondering what to do. How do I pacify them? Krishna had sent a message through Uddhava to be delivered to gopis. And Krishna and Uddhava wanted to deliver that message, but he was unable to comprehend the mood of the gopis. He was simply overwhelmed with what he was seeing. It was not a straightforward case like a doctor goes for a visit to a house, he knows he has a chest pain radiating to the left arm, so it must be heart attack, so he has some ideas in mind what medicine to give. He has prepared the medicines in the bag before going. And then he finds that it is not heart attack, it is something different. It is stroke, for example. So for some time he gets bewildered and whatever he had planned gets flopped. So like that he had thought, I will teach them yoga, I will teach them meditation, I will teach them equilibrium of mind through the process of yoga. But they told him that they were sitting in the meditation when he went, first interaction, and he was very happy that okay, some basics of yoga they know. So I can teach them the higher yoga to immediately come to the equilibrium. So he said, what are you meditating upon? So they said, we are not meditating upon anything. We are trying to take out Krishna who is already in the heart. We want to forget him. We are doing that yoga by which whatever we are having establishment in the heart of Krishna, we want to uproot it and throw it out of the heart so that we can become peaceful. Because of that situation of Krishna established in the heart, we are miserable and we want to forget him. So in the whole curriculum of Brahaspati which Uddhava had learned, there was no chapter of forgetting Krishna. There was only chapter and various chapters on how to establish that forgotten Krishna in the heart and how to realize him in the heart, and how to make him remain in the heart all the time, so that there is a anusmruti, continuous samadhi-like meditation on the remembrance of the Lord. So there only he was, first of all, we say in our Indian language, clean bowled. And then he was further trying to understand. So then he met all the Gwalwal, Gopals and Yashodamai and everything. And then time came to meet gopis because they didn't want to meet him in public. They said, whatever we have to tell you or say or listen to you, we want to do it in private area. So they took him to the deep forest of Nandagaon. It is called today as Uddhava Kyari, which even a couple of years ago also used to be very dense forest, full of thorns, and nobody would dare go there because of thousands of thorns. Even a few years ago, 30 years ago maybe. So that time it was a very deep jungle. So they took him all the way in the deep jungle, and then he read the message to the gopis. And hearing the message of gopis, the gopis were completely in an unbelievable response. Some of them were crying, some of them were laughing, some of them were shedding tears, some of them were rolling on the ground, some of them were dancing. So it's not like if I give you a sad news, then you will have a one sad response. If I give happy news, then you have a one happy response. But if I give one news to you, one kind of news, I cannot have 50 varieties of emotions exactly opposite to each other. And gopis exhibited that. And they were all, in one sense, Rupa Goswami has explained all these emotions in Nectar of Devotion. How there can be love in anger, love in depression, love in sadness, love in whatever. There are a variety of exactly opposite emotions, but based on love. It's love only that is expressing that particular emotion. And gopis were expressing that, and looking at the expressions and the responses of gopis, which is exactly opposite to each other only, themselves, he was completely bewildered. And then he didn't know how to further pacify them or talk to them, on what grounds. To that gopi who is jumping and dancing, what to talk to her, those who are rolling on the ground, shedding tears, what to talk to them. You can imagine how difficult it was for him, because he was coming from the realm of Dwarka or Mathura, where Aishwarya is more prominent and Madhurya is private between queens and Krishna. To general mass, the predominating mood was Aishwarya, the opulence of the Lord. And he is now entering into an arena which is fully overwhelmed with Madhurya, with conjugal. Even Madhurya is there in Dasya also, Sakhya also. Madhurya essentially means there is lack of understanding or knowledge about the majesty of the Lord, as the Lord. So, friendship with the Lord without knowing that He is Lord is Madhurya Sakhya. And parental love without knowing Krishna as the Lord is Madhurya Vatsalya, where there is no understanding. So the whole expression of Vatsalya is different. Vasudev Devaki also had Vatsalya, but their Vatsalya was not shouting at Krishna. Yashoda would not hesitate to scold Krishna very harshly. Hey, you street boy. So this is the difference, and he is having now that cultural shock from that Aishwarya situation to a Madhurya situation. He is trying to adjust with that, and somehow he couldn't adjust with that. He was actually bewildered completely. And then he was wondering how to pacify, and the solution of his own question and dilemma was given by gopis only. So what did gopis do in response to that letter? They started describing to him what all they did with Krishna, what all Krishna did with them, where all they went, what all pastimes Krishna did with them, or what all pastimes they saw Krishna doing, which they were not participating into, but Krishna was performing, like subduing Kaliya, like killing Bakasur. They were not participating, but they were there while these things were being enacted by Krishna. So then Uddhava saw that I came to pacify them, but they appear to be pacified or in happiness or in equilibrium of mind when they are remembering Krishna and narrating Krishna's pastime which happened with them or in their area of Vrindavan Dham. So he said, this is good. Not necessarily I have to speak and pacify them. If they are getting pacified anyways, that is what I want. So amazingly, he had come to deliver the message to various groups of people. It could be 1 or 2 days maximum. But amazingly, he stayed for 6 months in Brajbhumi. When Krishna was wondering, where is he gone? What is he doing? He's gone for only 2 days. So what was happening in those 6 months? There were millions and billions of gopis. There were not one gopi or few gopis or 8 gopis or 64 gopis. Even the Ashtasakis, each one has 3 crores of assistants. So the private group only was 24 crores. 24 crores and 8 gopis extra. 8 gopis having 24 crores. And imagine other gopis, Manjaris, Sahacharis, Kinkaris and so many types of gopis. All of them had a unique relationship with Krishna. All of them had that intimacy with Krishna, that love for Krishna. Although there are gradations, but it was all intense and more intense and much intense and more intense. So all of them wanted to tell Uddhava, do you know Uddhava, in this place, this is what Krishna did. This is the place where Krishna shed tears and the pond is formed. This is the place Radha and Krishna were sitting and looking at each other. This is where Radharani got bewildered and shed tears, and Krishna also got mesmerized and shed tears, and so many things. And of course they described about everything, not only their conjugal relationships and experiences, but everything they told about Krishna's wonderful pastimes. And they took Uddhava to each and every spot where Krishna performed pastimes. And there they were narrating the pastime with their own mouths. And the most amazing thing is, in our yatra, even if we had 8 groups, in one group there is one speaker and there are 1200 audience, right? And Maharaj speaks, then one speaker, and then there are 10,000 people listening to the lecture. But here there was exactly opposite, unique yatra, where there were millions of speakers and one audience was there. The whole Katha was being spoken or narrated in ecstasy for one audience who has come from far away place. And the one audience is listening, so if you tell one story from your angle, you have some other angle of the same story, so you will tell that angle, because everybody experiences any pastime or any event from different angles, right? If you go and start telling about His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in Mayapur Yatra, then what you have experienced, you will tell of the same story, of the same event. Many people will have different realization or angle of understanding of the same story, of the same what they have seen. So like that, there was in Marathi we have a word called ahamahamika. Ahamahamika means there is a competition. I will tell, maybe I will tell this same thing. And like that, there was an overwhelming experience for Uddhava in each and every holy place of Vrindavan. And that took him 6 months, and he had come supposedly to speak, but he was most quiet and everybody was speaking. Those were supposed to listen from him. So what was Uddhava's realization, which Krishna wanted him to learn? That the best way to pacify ourselves of any so-called grief, which could be from material world or which could be in the spiritual life. In the spiritual life means we can experience grief when we lose our beloved devotee who leaves the world. In the material life, maybe being a devotee also may lose money or something, we lose a house. So you can imagine all kinds of miseries, all kinds of griefs that we have can be actually effectively nullified, pacified by remembering Krishna and his pastimes. That is what Krishna actually wanted Uddhava to learn. Krishna was with Uddhava, Uddhava was with Krishna all the time. But there is something more than that, and there is something more intimacy than that, being more than physically being together. And that is spiritual life. Even Lord Ramchandra explained this to Sita Devi at Mamagachi, Modadrumadvip. What is the meaning of ecstasy in separation, and how it is higher than the ecstasy of meeting, some yoga. And Sita Devi first a little bit angry, why you will leave me and go in this incarnation? Then Lord Ramchandra explained to her how there is much unbelievable, millions of times more intimacy and ecstasy and happiness being in separation from the beloved, which is difficult to understand in the material life. But in spiritual life, it is the most established truth where we understand this. And this is basically the ecstasy of separation is based on remembrance. The remembrance will make the ecstasy intense, the most intimate. So that is one of the most important things. And how Of course, Uddhava is on a different platform. We cannot imagine to compare with him, but we can learn from him. How could Uddhava do it? First, he learned from devotees. So we have to learn from devotees. How devotees manage their grief in life. And the answer to that is by constantly remembering the Lord, chanting His holy name, and hearing His pastimes. I can assure you, and I can tell you with full confidence and nishtha, that if we daily hear Krishna's pastimes, in temple we are hearing Bhagavatam class, directly hearing from Krishna's Vani, or Krishna's pastimes, or Krishna's devotees' pastimes. If we are not staying in temple, we are traveling or we are working outside, still every day if we make a practice of hearing Krishna's pastimes without fail, Gaur Lila, Ram Lila, Krishna Lila, Braj Lila, Ayodhya Lila, any pastimes connected with the Lord, if we hear daily, then slowly we will start remembering those things only what we are hearing daily. What do we remember generally? We remember those things which we have done with heart, or we have heard with heart, or we got involved in the such activity with heart. Then those things touch your heart. Or when you hear something about Krishna at the level of the heart. That means when Radhanath Maharaj is speaking, when other saintly people are speaking, we are hearing with our heart, not with our brain, or not only with the ears. Then that thing goes right in the heart. And what goes right in the heart will become your memory, will become your remembrance. So to make things become remembrance, you have to apply it very deeply. You have to do it with deep sense of involvement. Whether it is hearing or speaking or doing anything, if you do it at intellectual level, it will remain there only. When you do it at the level of the heart, it will carry with you, because Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. I, Krishna says, and you both reside in the heart. And whatever happens at the level of the heart will go with you as remembrance. So in the initial stage, we may be remembering the Lord few hours a day. Maybe during chanting, maybe during Katha. Another time we may get absorbed into something else that is capturing us as day-to-day activities. But gradually, whatever you do will become absorption while doing it, and whatever you do, that remembrance will also occupy your other times of the day. And that has to happen. We cannot, in one sense, in true sense, separate our day-to-day life and Krishna consciousness. It is actually one, but it takes time to realize it is one. Then whatever you do, first you do for yourself, and then later on that whatever you do to yourself becomes your service to Krishna and devotees. It just overlaps, it just overtakes. What you have been separating it right from beginning, it becomes overtaken by your 2, 3, 4 hours of activity, because they are done at the level of the heart. They overtake the other activities. First you earn money for yourself, and then also you earn money for yourself, but then first you earn for yourself, and then you earn for Krishna and his devotee service. So that transformation takes by your own conviction, your own involvement and determination. For grahasthas, for brahmacharis, for renounced people, for worldly people, this rule applies constantly, same way. If one is fully engaged in earning money, he wants to earn money, he is fully determined, then whatever he does is actually meant to earn money. He cannot separate his activities, because all the activities become one, like the LIC agent. Wherever he goes, whether he goes into a Antyeshti or whether he goes to a wedding, he will keep selling his policy to anybody, because that has overwhelmed and overtaken all his 24 hours a day, right? Because of his determination, because of his conviction, because of his desire. He has decided, okay, wherever I will go, even if somebody's body is getting burnt and now already fire is lit, now I have some time, people are waiting, he will say, okay, I have one policy, can you sell? So if that personality of being a LIC agent is so determined and so full time meditating on his work, devotees also can do the same thing for Krishna. It requires first desire, then it requires sankalpa, then it requires nishchay, and then it requires activity according to his sankalpa and desire. And the more and more deeply you do all these activities, it just becomes you. The whole thing becomes you. It is not separate from you. Your own existence becomes one with that activity which you are doing. If it is Krishna conscious activity, if it is Krishna's remembrance, then it overwhelms your existence. What we hear in Vrindavan Dham, that gopis were seeing Krishna in water, in the water pot, in trees, in food, in Goshala, at the banks of river, in the sky. Wherever they would look, they would see Krishna only. Krishna is Sarvavyapak. He is everywhere, in between two atoms also. But more than that, Krishna was established in their heart. That's why their eyes were anointed with only Krishna's vision. They could not see Krishna, anything but Krishna. So what makes you see Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaha Sudaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. When we can see Krishna in the heart and Krishna everywhere, when we are overwhelmed with his thoughts. And it's a process. It is not something which is theoretical and impossible for a sincere soul. It takes some practice, it takes some determination, it takes some sacrifice, it takes some hard work. But if one is determined, it is possible in this lifetime in Kali Yuga also. We have to create a situation for ourselves. That I will get up at this time, I'll do these things and I'll do that, and then all the time I'm meditating how to serve Krishna, how to serve devotees, and in between whenever there is time you are hearing Krishna's pastimes. Again I am telling, what becomes remembrance? What is your continuous activity? What becomes anusmruti? What you do all the time, what you want to do all the time, what you think all the time, finally becomes your continuous memory. And then when that becomes continuous really, then it is called samadhi. That means you are fully absorbed all the time. Then you can understand the definition of Krishna consciousness in one word, that is absorption. And absorption in Krishna is finally the goal. If that we don't come, gradually improving, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, even our sleeping time can be fully absorbed in Krishna's thoughts. Because we pray to Krishna before we go to sleep. We wake up, as soon as we wake up, we remember Krishna and pray to Krishna. Pray to the holy place which we love. Then in between also Krishna fills the gap by his desire, by his sweetness, by his mercy. So, Uddhava's take-home message is how to remember Krishna, even without being with Krishna. And exactly what he has learned from gopis in Vrindavan, he is practicing here now. As soon as Vidura asked some question, what he is doing actually in this chapter, he is just narrating one after another pastimes in Vrindavan Dham, then pastimes out of Vrindavan Dham, pastimes in Dwarka, everywhere. Some he was participating into, some he had heard, but everything was overwhelmingly intense for him. So, all of us are part and parcel of Krishna, for sure. Of that is no doubt. And we cannot claim that we were there in all pastimes of Krishna. So most of the pastimes of Krishna we are hearing from somebody and they have been happening. But they can become part of your life, part of your being, part of your knitting inside the heart. For that, that liking has to be developed, that taste has to be developed by practice, to hear the holy name and to hear the pastimes of the Lord constantly. I can assure you that once you start doing that, you will get an incessant, overwhelming desire not to stop hearing the pastimes of the Lord. And the greatest boon is that box which we have come up with, right? One Prabhupada box is there, one another box is there. You can choose to hear, and that can go with you anywhere. In the flight it can go, it doesn't require Wi-Fi. In the train it can go, it doesn't require continuous Wi-Fi on the ground. It doesn't require anything, it just requires a earphone and a charged situation, and you can choose and keep hearing. So for the devotees, there is no boredom when they have to wait for hours for some work. For devotees, there is no boredom when they have to travel for 18 hours to USA in the flight. There is no waste of time for devotees because devotees are able to hear Krishna Katha all the time. And there is variety also. You can hear Narsinga Leela, you can hear Ram Leela, you can hear Gaur Leela, you can hear Krishna Leela, you can hear Nityananda Leela, you can hear Leelas of the great devotees of the Lord. You can hear Leela of Sridhar Kolavecha, you can hear Leela of Tukaram Maharaj, you can hear Leela of so many other saintly people. Because they connect you to Krishna. So here we can understand the whole chapter is Uddhava's heart being expressed. If you squeeze an apple, orange, then what comes out is orange juice, right? But if you keep the orange, you don't see the juice there. But when you press the orange, what is inside only comes out. If it is rotten, then rotten juice will come out. If it is fresh and perfect, then the perfect juice will come out. Looking beautifully and tasting beautifully and looking attractive also. So like that, Vidura has pressed Uddhava at the level of the heart. He has struck his chord, and immediately what is coming out is all that is in heart. And that is also quite overwhelmingly happiness giving situation for Vidura also. So Vidura is traveling and he is not knowing what's exactly happening, and Uddhava is connecting him with Krishna. So if we are saturated with Krishna's thoughts, if you are saturated with love and remembrance of Krishna's pastimes, by hearing, by reading, by repeatedly hearing, by meditating, then if someone meets you, only that will come out. If you are saturated with thoughts of earning money and all varieties of ways of earning money, and anybody meets you, you will start talking about that only. What is on top of your mind overwhelmingly, what is going on in your mind all the time, will be told to people, will be expressed to people as soon as you meet people. You will speak only what is there filled in your heart and what is surfacing on your heart. So if you do that, surfacing and filling with Krishna and his pastimes and his Leela, then be sure your life is delivered fully. You don't have to worry about yourself. But whoever comes in touch with you also gets delivered, because he also gets only to hear about Krishna from you. So this dialogue gives us that hope that we will also be delivered this way. Why I am not talking about chanting the holy name so much, but talking about the pastime more? Because when we chant the holy name, lot of time it takes to really develop taste to chant the holy name. And even if you develop the taste of the holy name, it takes time to really, or it gets ups and down. You get sick and again you go down, again you come up, again you go down, again you come up. So when you chant the holy name, it is you who is doing the effort. And yeah, we have some trust on ourselves, but we can't trust ourselves fully, because one day we are enthusiastic, other day we are sleeping, other day we are looking here and there and chanting, other day we are chanting like full focus. So it's only me and us. But the Katha of the Lord, the Karta is the Lord. There's a shloka, na? Shushrushru Shraddha Dhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. No, not that shloka. What is the shloka? Vidunoti Shrudistam Shrinvatam Srikatam Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanat Hridayantasya Avadrani Vidunoti Shrudistam. If you study Sanskrit in this shloka, you will know the Karta is not you, Karta is the Lord. The doer is the Lord in this whole verse. So what is the Lord doing? When you hear the Katha through a sincere soul, then the Lord loves to come and gets established in the heart. He comes and enters your heart. When you are chanting, you are trying to bring the Lord in your heart, and many times we fail. But when you hear the Katha from a pure devotee, then the Lord is royally coming and entering in your heart, establishing himself And Vidyunoti is also now, anyway I am here, let me cleanse. So he starts cleaning. And the heart gets purified. And this happens repeatedly. Then the Lord will say, why should I go? Let me be here only. Because this person is hearing my Katha all the time. So why should I go and come back? Let me be here only. So all becomes the activity of the Lord. And because the Lord is all powerful, He doesn't fail in doing what He is doing. So when you hear Katha, it becomes very easy for us to remember the Lord. And by hearing the Katha of the Lord only, our chanting becomes better. So if you really are interested in chanting nicely and remembering the Lord through the holy name, or chanting the holy name, that also is aided and augmented by regularly hearing the pastime of the Lord. These are all true practical experiences. So when we make the Lord the doer, then it becomes easy for us because He is the all-powerful person. He doesn't fail in doing what He wants to do. That is why it is easier to get attracted to the Lord and develop taste for the Lord through Katha than the holy name, the chanting of the holy name. But finally, through the hearing of the Lord's pastimes, finally we have to come down to chanting the holy name nicely so that we can remember His name or Him before leaving. All the conclusion of our spiritual life is finally Smaranam. How? Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. If there is not mentioned that chanting or ucharan. What is explained there is Sravanam. Also yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyate ante kalevaram. There also it is mentioned Smaran only. The Smaran is the conclusion of all our life's activities, whether material or spiritual. Whether you remember, do all activities materially, you will remember something material at the moment of death. If you do all the life activities spiritually, then what you remember is spiritual activities. So finally, your Shravan and Kirtan and your activities have to conclude in Smaran. That will decide your destiny. Even in this lifetime, the destiny is decided, and the next lifetime where you will go also is decided by that Smaran only. So finally everything is Smaranam. Even when we are dying in a comatose condition, your capacity to Smaran is intact. Your capacity to listen is also intact. Shravana, Shakti is there till the last moment, till the soul leaves the body. The soul can listen. And even as much as 1 week before and many years before, this experience is all time overwhelmingly coming in front of our eyes, that how a person at the moment of death is still able to hear. That's why we should not fail in talking to the people who are dying. Oh, he is not responding. He is not able to respond because of his machine is faulty now. His equipment is not working to respond. But his equipment to listen is working. So with that full faith, we should speak and try to connect the person to the Lord through our determination and our, powerful talk. And suddenly the comatose people do respond. Because when there are 50 thoughts coming in your mind overwhelmingly at the last moment of life, suddenly somebody strongly reminds you of Krishna, it just strikes you. And if that person is fortunate to accept that reminder, he responds. I just saw my sister passed away 10-15 days back. I saw that on 11th of December on Gita Jayanti when she passed away. I saw that myself. I showed my Bhanja also. See, I told you she will listen, and she is listening, and there was response. So how much we have to be convinced about it, that when we are reminding somebody, they respond. If we remember all the time throughout the life, then will there be any difficulty in remembrance? If there is a continuous remembrance of the Lord, then whether life or death, it doesn't matter, it just continues. So we have to all come to that stage of continuous remembrance while we are living. And for that, of course, some determination, some sankalpa, some activity which is in line with the thought has to be there. So in this particular verse, another bhav of Uddhava is expressed. That bhav is, he is thinking that, oh, the demons are very fortunate, They are so fortunate that while dying, Lord is right in front of them, riding on the Garuda, hand holding the weapon, yielding the weapon, Sudarshan Chakra or whatever. How fortunate they are. I am not sure whether I will die or I will give my body, Krishna will be in front of me or not. So he is saying that they are better than devotees. But that is an emotional experience or expression. Like when we all see that some people, who are apparently not devotees, but suddenly they die on the very auspicious day, in the middle of the devotees, hearing the holy name. Oh, we saying, oh, how fortunate he is. Will I be that fortunate? I am chanting Hare Krishna so many years, but will I get that fortune of the dying on the holy day amongst the devotees, getting all the holy items to me? So that is a spiritual emotion. If somebody is reminding somebody of Krishna at the moment of death, and many times you have done that, why Krishna will not arrange for you to remember him at the moment of our departure? That is another way of thinking. But Uddhava is thinking that they are very fortunate. So that is his spiritual emotion. The Prabhupada explains that he feels, because of his humility, that he may not be so fortunate to have Krishna in front of their eyes, as the demons had, who died in the hands of Krishna. But the devotees who live life of devotion and love to Krishna, to Krishna all their life, they, even though do not complete their mission, they don't go to Brahma Jyoti. They don't go to impersonal liberation, Sayujya. They may come back to in the family of devotees or in the family of aristocratic people to continue their devotion. But if at all they have to go somewhere finally, they will go to the planet of Krishna only. They will not take a halt in between somewhere, or they will not be misdirected or misguided to the Brahma Jyoti, because that is not their mood. The mood is extremely important, which will lead you to your destination. If the mood is personal, the mood is of love with the Lord in person, then that will take you to the situation where the Lord is personally present. The mood that you have harbored in your heart will be matched with the mood where you go, or you will be taken to the place where your mood is matching. So while we are here, we are cultivating the personal love with the Lord. So in no situation, even though we are not complete in our devotion in this lifetime or in next few lifetimes, our destination is guaranteed, that we will go to the planet of the Lord, if at all we become qualified. Or even we don't get qualified, we will remain here in the company of devotees, in the personal love of the Lord and the personal love of the devotees. So the deliverance of Putana is not Putana's greatness. It is Krishna's causeless love or causeless mercy or karuna, compassion. It is his decision to choose only that motherly love of breastfeeding, and his choice to choosing to give up everything else what is around that one activity or desire. All the sinful activities and the desires that Putana had, Krishna chose to ignore it, and Krishna chose to accept her desire to feed him milk, not even the poisonous milk. He chose. That is why she was delivered and given the position of Dhatri of Yashoda in the spiritual world. So it is Krishna's causeless mercy. The demons don't become glorified by that. Krishna gets glorified by that, because it is Krishna's choice to pick up what he wants to pick up. It is his mindset that he will pick up only one spark of devotion, then millions of other sinful desires. That is our Lord. That is our most merciful Lord. And that gives a lot of hope to us. If Shishupal could be delivered, if Kamsa could be delivered, if Putana could be delivered, then I at least don't hate Krishna. To be honest, we don't hate Krishna, we are trying to love Krishna. We are having a lot of innate envy, but we are still attempting to love Krishna, attempting to chant his holy name, attempting to serve him, attempting to serve his devotees. We are trying to be Krishna conscious in a personal way. So at least we have hope that Krishna will take into consideration our external attempt at least. That's what we are doing. Internally we may have still innate envy for the Lord, but we are trying very hard for many years to do in that line which can attract Krishna's attention. So there also we have hope, that because I have lot of innate envy and lot of other anarthas, but I am doing something positively externally, Krishna will only pick up that, and he will nullify all the negative things and forget all these things, not take it notice of that. So from all points of view, because Krishna is very merciful, we are very fortunate. We have lot of hope. Actually our condition is very fallen and very hopeless. Because of this nature of Krishna, and because of the compassionate nature of our spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, our hope becomes alive. To ourselves, we are very hopeless. But when we are look out of us to our Lord and our spiritual master and the devotees, our hope becomes alive. And let that be the continuous feature. Because another thing is, more we progress in Krishna consciousness, we start becoming, we start developing the feeling that we are more fallen than before. I was better when I started my Krishna consciousness. Now I feel I am much worse than that time. But in that condition also of true realization of fallen condition, this hope remains, and this hope will save us. So the clue of all this situation is a devotee, which is in this place Vidur trying to inspire Uddhava. So we have to have one or many such devotees who will always kindle our devotion to Krishna, will always keep us on track. Oh, I am sitting in the train and looking something which I should not look at, and suddenly a devotee from another coach comes to your coach. Hari bol Prabhuji, how are you? You understand? Yes, I am supposed to not look at that thing which I am looking at. Now I am redirected to Krishna by this merciful devotee. He may be very junior to you, he may be equal to you, he may be very advanced to you than you. But as soon as a devotee intervention is there, immediately you are redirected to Krishna. And however great devotees, for how many years we are, if you are alone, it's a little risky. Because where our mind will take us, we don't know. What's going on in mind, we don't know. So it is said that even while we sleep, we should have some devotees sleeping around. Their aura, their presence, even in sleeping condition, will save you from getting distracted in Maya. Because even if you are a very great devotee, if you have mobile with you, it is enough to distract you in today's life. So devotees will always save you. We are all dependent on the association and mercy of devotees. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for this beautiful class. This one class, if we apply in our lives, certainly we can practice Krishna consciousness so beautifully, and by the practice we may become successful also. Today Safala Ekadasi is ending. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for this very inspiring class. My small question is, Prabhu, you very nicely explained that in order to remember Krishna, there are few things. One is Ichha, Sankalpa, and then Nishchay, and then activity in that direction. So can you just a little bit elaborate, Prabhuji, that for example, if we want to develop habit of hearing more and more, so then in this process, how we should go ahead? Just you may explain, Prabhuji.
First, we should develop that desire by hearing. Everything begins from hearing. You hear that now you have heard, ki we have to do this, so you have heard. So that desire is coming up, desire will come up. So if I were to hear Krishna's pastimes every day, so first I have developed desire that I must hear every day as much as possible. If I am traveling, I must plan my travel in such a way that what I will hear in this my travel. That should be the situation. And then if you think like that, then what you will do? You will charge your speaker, charge your MP3 player, you will fill up your MP3 player with whatever desired lectures you have, or you will take up something which is already recorded and you plan, I will hear 143 to 149 lectures like that. My experience is, every day morning when we wake up, however busy we are 24 hours a day, but everybody is free in the washroom in the morning. Everybody, irrespective of being Prime Minister or being an ordinary person in the world. That is the best time to hear, because when we get up in the morning, what is lingering in our mind is some thoughts of yesterday and some dreams that you have got in the night. Irrespective of who you are, the first thing in the morning comes out in your mind is some bad experience that you had yesterday, and you are meditating while brushing. But moment you start your lecture, listening to a lecture, those negative thoughts are wiped off. Your dreamy thoughts and yesterday's thoughts are wiped off, and immediately you are endowed with positivity, spirituality. And the box is in a beautiful condition where you stop, next day it begins from that point only. So that is my practical experience. And then suppose you start hearing a particular pastime and then you have to now start chanting and you have to break that leela. You will find time in a day to continue that because you are eager to hear. You have already developed enough eagerness because of the morning practice you have. So we have to see that we keep doing it regularly. This particular formula, first hearing, then developing desire, then deciding sankalpa, and then we are determined, I will do it and I will start doing it. Initially it will be a small number of time, 1 hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, but it will go on increasing as you go on doing it in a determined way. Then whether you are in a holy place or you are not in holy place, you are in Mumbai or outside, where whatever you are doing, whenever you get time, you will hear. How people are hearing 1 crore of songs in one mobile unit available. And how the today's youth is constantly with the earplugs. Is it not true? Constantly they are hearing something. See, if they can develop that consistency in hearing what they want to hear, why we can't develop that consistency in hearing what we want to hear? It is possible. They have done some effort to put 1 crore songs in that mobile unit. We have to do some effort to do what we want to hear continuously. The amount of energy people put into doing material activity in the material world, if that much energy we put into doing spiritual activities, the same result will come in this direction. We also have a mixture of desire in the heart, right? Material desires, spiritual desires. And we know how much attached we are to our prapancha, whatever, materialistic activities. If we develop that kind of attachment for spiritual life, our life is delivered fully. And we all know how much I'm attached to food, how much I'm attached to clothes, how much I'm attached to money. All of us know our attachments to these things confidentially. We all know. And that much development of attachment if we have for what we want, that is Krishna, then perfection of Krishna consciousness is achieved. And it is all easily possible. I am not talking something which is very difficult, going to Himalayas, sitting in the cave, eating 1 carrot a day, taking bath in Alaknanda. We are not talking about that at all. Prabhupada said, if those people who are able to take bath in Alaknanda in the middle of the winter, having 1 gajar a day, why can't we just do it in the city by chanting and following 4 regulatory principles? Yesterday Prabhupada was speaking in the morning. Why can't we tolerate the urges in city with these 4 things and chant Hare Krishna? That will be the greatest austerity rather than going to Himalayas in the middle of the winter taking bath in Alaknanda. That was Prabhupada's statement. So we are not bereft of that benefit just because we are not able to go to Himalayas and taking bath in Alaknanda. The same benefit is available by doing these things in city. Hare Krishna. I hope I answered your question. Any other question is there?
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Uddhav ji Maharaj ki jai. Vidur ji Maharaj ki